Hi, everybody, and welcome back. We are going to give it some time for people to come in as the notifications go out. For those of you who are just tuning in, this is Godis Switching the Code. So welcome to my page. Hello, Trinity. Hello, greetings. So we are going to be getting into this super full moon in Aries post eclipse season, while still kind of being an eclipse season, right? I always say eclipse season is about 6 weeks before, six weeks after, right? Just to really get that energy moving and flowing. And this one is going to still kind of have that eclipsey kind of energy because we are post-eclipse energy. However, there's a lot that's going to be going on. It's not an eclipse, right? So, however, it's not an eclipse. Just to be clear, I know, some people were mistaking it with like a partial lunar eclipse or something like that. It is not. It is, however, the third consecutive full super moon in a row. And so this is the last super moon in a row, but this is the closest one to the earth. And so it is massively intense. It's a lot bigger than all the other ones. And so we have a lot that's going on as well. This supermoon is happening on Thursday, October 17 at 7:24 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So convert that into your time zone. And there's a few things that I want to say because we do have the moon in Aries being conjunct with Chiron in Aries right before getting into this full moon. And so that energy is going to play a role, as well as we have the moon squaring Mars, and then it's also going to be squaring Pluto. And so this is a lot of intense energy. That I highly suggest, if you haven't already taken a paper and pen out, definitely do so for some notes, or you're going to want to watch this video back because there's going to be a lot of information that I'm going to be sharing here. I'm going to do channeled messages. Hello, Cosmica, Cosmic 19. Hello, greetings. And so we're going to get into like the all signs and what houses they're going to be in. I'm going to do a little bit of tarot. You already know how your girl does, along with the channeled messages. So I am also going to be sharing some, hello goddess. I am going to be sharing, Casey, I love you, crystals that I was picking up. And y'all, some essentials, oils that you can use, or even just herbs that you might want to use in your practices for the next few weeks, is not just for this full moon. I was literally getting these messages for the next few weeks. Please bear with me, y'all, as I am in a healing process of my own. And so if you see me needing to take a pause, this is why I'm taking a pause, or just like moving my body. What I do want to say also is you want to listen for your rising sign first, your sun sign second, and your moon sign last, as it's more internal and subjective to you. I'm going to highly recommend that you check out your Chiron. If you know your Chiron placements, check out what Mars and Pluto is doing. We do have Pluto now in direct. Yes, let me actually pin that, please. Casey, thank you for, there we go. And then, y'all, if it gets too wild, I might need somebody to like be a moderator. And one of the card decks that actually came out, I have not used this deck in a really long time, and it's a starred seed deck. And so I'm really interested as to like what messages want to come out from there. I love you too. So I'm going to just share a little bit again, very briefly, as to what I mentioned. So Thursday, October 17 at 7:24 Eastern Standard Time, a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are going to have the largest super full moon closest to the Earth in the entire year. Okay, this full moon is happening in the sign of Aries. This is post eclipse, the first full moon after the eclipse is just passed, but we are still in eclipse season. It's just post eclipse. Eclipse season usually lasts about 6 weeks after the eclipses as well. This full moon is also having a conjunction with Chiron, which is also known as the wounded healer or the wounded warrior, right? Depending on which story it is that you align with. This also is going to have, right before the peak of the super full moon, we are going to have the moon squaring Mars, and then we are also going to have, then we're going to have the full moon, and then we're going to have the moon squaring Pluto right before it ingresses into Taurus, right before it changes signs. So this is all at its like peak 29 degrees energy. And what this is telling us is this energy is really here to close out massive cycles. As most of you may know, Pluto has now gone direct in the sign of Capricorn in 29 degrees as well. I did a whole video on that. I highly suggest that you check that video out as well, as there's so much information that I'm not going to get into in this video. That's in that video over there. However, we are also in pre-shadow phase of Mars in Cancer, pre-shadow phase of its retrograde. And so where it would be retrograde in 2025. And so we're already feeling the effects of Mars in Cancer's retrograde, retrograde energy. Oh, and then we have Chiron in the mix. This is a very important time to tread carefully, and I mean that in every sense of the word. Be careful with yourself. Be careful with others. If you are traveling, be careful traveling. Stay safe, y'all. This energy with all the squares that it has to Mars and also the conjunction with Chiron, also in the connection of the North Node, right? Because the North Node still is in the sign of Aries, okay? This energy is very subjected to accidents, to wounds, right? The wounded warrior, to definitely things that have a major impact or can cause trauma or surgery, different forms of separation or isolation. This energy is going to call for. And so it's really important for you to just breathe into your highest intentions and walk on the journey in the path that is in alignment with your North Node, because this moon, and one of the cards that did come out too earlier in the pre-shuffle, was align your life. What is not aligned or what needs to change? Yeah, and one thing that does need to change is my lighting here. So let me see if I do this really quick, y'all. Just so we get a little bit more light in here for you all. Bear with me. A lot of people do all the big lights. Is that better? I do the fire, power, fire, fire, more fire, more fire. There we go. That seems to work a lot better. Let me just put my oil lamp on. There we go. It may also just be this camera here. Possibly because of the filter too. So anyways, I'll get into the cards in just a moment. And so we also are going to have the moon opposite of Mercury. And then we are going to have Venus in Scorpio, sextiling Pluto and Capricorn. So that part of the energy is going to be like spicy, sensual, sexual. It could also be very dark feminine. It could be, you know, rageful, vindictive, vengeful. It can be ferocious or fierce and challenging. There is going to be a lot of challenges that come in, but the challenges is not so much because of Venus sextile Pluto. The challenges are because of the moon squaring both Mars and Pluto, and Pluto you know, acts like a cold diversion of Mars, if you will, right? Mars being very passionate, all right? So this can challenge your passions of what, you know, the areas that you've been wanting to. Hello, wisdom, welcome, greetings, everyone, and everyone who's coming in that I did not get to greet. You know, Mars, as much as its arguments and separation and, you know, it can be wars. I'm not going to lie to y'all. This full moon has a major, it's also doing a cardinal square, if I'm not mistaken. Now that I remember. Yeah. It is a T-square. So, ooh, okay, that's going to be, that's, whew. So this energy on a massive collective level, it has, we already seen a lot of like warlike energy. We're going to see a lot more destructive, situations happening on a mass collective level. This is also going to massively impact the collective finances to start shifting as well. So definitely paying attention to that. This is also going to massively impact more. When I'm talking about finances, I'm talking about and you know, because I have to be mindful of some of the stuff that I say, because if not, then they try to like, they're already monitoring my freaking page. So which is why I've been focusing more on the personal development aspect of things, right, to like help you guys grow, right? And yeah, so it could be in regards to like money situations, corporations, definitely gonna be an increase of hospital things happening in the hospitals. So for those of you who work like as first responders, you know, you're definitely, I'm gonna say those of you, even if you're not a first responder, but you're gonna be traveling outside for any given reason, you know, definitely just be patient, practice patience. Patience is a virtue, unofficial virtue, but it is a virtue nonetheless, in my opinion, right? You know, you may see a lot of accidents or have a lot of like sirens going off. I would even say when it comes down to the moon being opposite Mercury, that this is going to cause a lot of people to be impulsive and argumentative, on top of the squares with Mars and Pluto. And this is because like there's going to be a lot of misunderstandings and a lot of shadow energy. So those that haven't done this shadow work are really, really, really going to like be massively expressing themselves impulsively and reactively, as opposed to like just taking a moment to be in the awareness of knowing like this shit is really like triggering me right now, and rather than me just like impulsively act on this, how can I responsibly act on this, right? And so there's also gonna feel like a slow down energy when it comes down to some of your passions when earlier on in the day, but during the evening with the Venus sextile Pluto, that's when maybe you're going to be feeling more alleviated into expressing what your passions are and tapping into the creative endeavors in that aspect coming up. Mars fell out. Yes. Yes. So Mars and Cancer, you know, on a shadow side, you know, Cancer's energy can be very manipulative. It's very emotionally and triggering at times. And again, on the shadow side, that Cancerian energy is known to even be murderous, right? And so Mars in the sign of Cancer, Mars is in its detriment. It feels weak there. It feels vulnerable. And so because it feels vulnerable, on a lighter side of this could be your opportunity to do self-care rituals. This could be your opportunity to say like, that no longer aligns with me anymore, and I have to do what's in my heart space and feeling called there. And you're going to feel these emotions, but these emotions are there to create peace internally. And as you are creating peace internally, essentially the goal is to create peace externally from you as well. And that's what Mars in Cancer in the pre-shadow phase is really teaching as a lesson, is really to get into that peacemaker with yourself. Because if not, you will be overly consumed by your emotions. And Mars in Cancer doesn't necessarily react the same way if it was like Mars in Aries, like it was for the eclipse, right? Where it's a lot more aggressive. So with all this Mars energy and the watery aspects that we have on the earth, like, we can be seeing more, we can see more earthquakes. We can see more tornadoes, hurricanes. We can see more volcano eruptions even, so a lot of natural disasters is going to be amplified at this time as well. And I invite you to look back because of the moon squaring Pluto in Capricorn. This energy is really about closing up those cycles. What were you doing around 2008? What was going on in your life in the last 15 years? Are you closing out any generational cycles between those years? Right? Allowing yourself to change. One of the biggest things this moon is asking you about is to change. Aries is the head. Aries is the body, yes, but Aries is also the initiator. And because it's still in the North Node, this moon has, it's conjoined the North Node. So it wants you to move forward, but you can't move forward with all the dead weight. And it sounds redundant like we're saying this, but this is really like this moon and these portals that we are in right now are really like the final pillars that's really going to allow people to move into a certain threshold before these portals close. And unless you really dive really, 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 really deep in yourself after these portals, like, create that shift, it's going to be hard for people to navigate into those shifts. A lot of people are actually going to have their ascension quite literally and physically, but even metaphorically and spiritually, right? And so, you know, the metaphoric ascension is more the awareness of growth that's happening, right? The spiritual ascension is exactly that, the spiritual transfiguration is the word that they're giving me, transfiguration. Hey, Heavy. Hey, Erica. And so really allowing yourself to connect with those versions of your cosmic DNA, to really be integrated in your being. If you are finding yourself having triggers with any masculine energy, whether you are male or female, these are things that's going to come up in the collective as well. And so I invite you, and I did mention this for, I don't remember for what that was, but it's coming up again for this full moon, where it's like, if you're seeing like other men degrading other men, rather like causing more separation rather than union of brotherhood, that's something for you to pay attention to, because there's a need for healing in that space. There's still, that's the wounded, you know, they might look at it in a way of, I'm higher than you, or I'm better than you because I've done this like spiritual work, or I have all this knowledge and wisdom, but the heart space is actually wounded. It's not really in its transfiguration of its highest ascension. And so it's not really able to translate that onto the brotherhood for the collective's highest and greatest good amongst the brothers, amongst both, right? In that, and I'm saying brothers because I'm talking about divine masculine energy, but it doesn't have to just be like males. This could also be even within like women. If you're seeing women belittling or degrading men at this time, that's that separation energy. There could be certain wounds or triggers there, heartbreak situations. So there's a lot of like anahata recalibrations that's happening in this space. There's a lot of root chakra recalibrations that's happening in this space, and a lot of crown chakra activations that's being recalibrated in this space. All right. You're going to see after this, there's going to be massive shifts in regards to how people are communicating in their soul's language. However, you know, we're talking about being practical, and we're talking about, you know, being in our spirituality, right? And how do we integrate that and align that for balance? So a lot of y'all are going to be called into hermit mode. A lot of y'all are going to be called to really get into that space for like rest and restoration, just for, you know, almost feeling like a form of like hibernation, if you will, to really receive a lot of like your galactic messages from your DNA, okay, or what they call like junk DNA. This could also be that there's going to be like parts of your RNA that's being reestablished and recalibrated for you to actually function outside of the wounded healer or outside of the wounded warrior. And again, this is just like an intuitive message that I have picked up. All right. And so if that's something that resonates with you, then take that. I invite you that if you feel like that message resonates for you, I invite you to perhaps do meditations with blindfolds or be in the absolute complete dark. Really allow yourself to maybe get a dark mirror if you're going to do some mirror work at that time, but really getting into the deep dark depths of yourself, because this is really going to allow for you to find union in the separation of yourself, right? This is actually going to allow for you to activate dormant abilities that maybe was from quote unquote past lifetimes, that it could have even been from your childhood here, but because of like trauma, that it got suppressed or repressed, or your higher self was like, you know what, you, as much as you need to tap into this, I'm gonna need you to like I'm gonna need to put that on hold for you right now until you're ready. So really being mindful of that. If you are going to be doing like blindfolded meditations, maybe do it in stillness. If you want to do blindfolded in like a slow and steady walking meditation, I would say please be careful that you don't walk in a space where there's sharp objects, or I just don't recommend that at this time, just because there's a lot of injuries that I do see happening for this full moon. This full moon is really tapping into the pain body for healing, and this could be the pain bodies of your past traumas, but it has a lot of transits that's going to activate actual physical impact, right? Practical, tangible, concrete kind of impact to create these changes in the spaces that perhaps you may have been stubborn or afraid to shift or change. Or if it's not like afraid or a fear, maybe perhaps there was like a subconscious block or a subconscious challenge that was making you feel like you couldn't break out of that frequency, or you couldn't have a moment to like rest, or it's really gonna ask you to really tap into that alchemist within you, to turn that pain into wisdom, right? So ultimately turning lead into gold. All right, y'all. So I'm going to, before I get into all houses here, let's just see what affirmations we have here for the whole collective. And I feel like there's so much more that I wanted to say, but in truth and reality here, even for those of you cooking, like just be mindful in the kitchen, sharp objects. Those of you who have children, just really tending to your children. Aries is the head, is also the child. So, and it's also, again, the self. So this is with the square, the moon in Aries squaring Mars in Cancer. This is about your self-love, and it's going to show you all the areas where maybe you weren't really loving yourself as much as you thought you was. Or maybe perhaps you wasn't allowing yourself to put those boundaries, or for some of you, you weren't even allowing yourself to take up space. Some of you were just saying sorry just for breathing the same fucking air in a room, and you didn't even do anything to be apologetic for. And you just felt like you needed to apologize for every single thing that you did because it was a trauma response. And so take heed of that. Pay attention to that. That's something that's going to come up a lot for the collective. And so if you keep seeing the word like forgiveness, or hearing the word forgiveness, a lot of that is actually self-forgiveness for this full moon. Squaring the Mars in Cancer. Yes, we want you to forgive other people. However, it may have been easier for you to forgive other people than it has been for you to forgive yourself. And sometimes we feel like, I did forgive myself for all these things and stuff like that. And you're thinking that you need to forgive yourself for the past traumas of things that happened to you that wasn't really your fault. But you may not have forgiven yourself for all the ways that you were, your defense mechanisms, or your trauma responses, right? And so that's the area where it's asking for self-forgiveness. And then I'm going to get into the crystals in just a moment, but we have here the first chakra, which is the Muladhara, and it's the base chakra. It says self-sufficiency. By finding material security without being materialistic, I will gain satisfaction, stability, and inner strength. I am resourceful. I put in the effort to be responsible for supplying fundamental needs in my life, such as shelter, food, water, and clothing. I take responsibility for where I now find myself in life as I move forward. I get in touch with and trust my innate wisdom, which tells me that I will be provided with all I need. Oh, I wish you can see that here to, I think it's the filter, to be honest, because it's not even the lighting at this point. Okay. But you can watch the replay, pause it, write it down into your journal. All right. And then it says abundance in the bottom of the deck. So we're also going to take that, and that's the sacral chakra. And it says, I am worthy and I deserve an abundance of anything that I require. I watch my thoughts to ensure that I am honoring and respecting myself. I honor myself by knowing that I am worthy to receive and I am open to receive now. I remind myself that it is a sign of strength to ask for help. Woo-wee. All right, and let's get one more card here. And it's the heart chakra. The fourth chakra, the Anahata chakra. And it says, I allow myself to be open to giving and receiving love without fear of rejection. I give without expecting recognition or acknowledgement in return. When I am loving to others, I am helping bring out the innate love within them so they can also feel uplifted, worthy, and cared for. I love myself the way I am, not the way I was or the way that I could be. And I extend this love to others. I teach others how to love and respect me by how I love and respect myself. And that's a big key here with the Anahata, is treating others how you want to be treated, because of all the like independence energy, the aggressive energy that's going to be out there, the shadowy energy. Hi, Logan. Hey, y'all, check out Mr. Synchronicity. That's the homie G. Because of all that aggression and the shadowy and the pain body being active, although it's like, it is talking about, sharing that love with others to show them. When you give love without expectations of receiving it back, you really just allow yourself to flow into the energy of, I am the embodiment of love. I am love. Therefore, love surrounds me at all times. Even if they know not what they do, even if they don't know how to love me back, I love me enough for the both of us. And I love me so much so that if this is not serving my highest good, if this is not in alignment with the love that I am putting out, if it is not being received well or reciprocated in the manner in which creates balance and honors my divinity, then I know how to put those boundaries and keep on moving forward with myself, because I am worthy and I deserve an abundance of anything that I require. I tell people all the time, when people think that they are interested in me and stuff like that, I'm like, y'all, I am a big responsibility. I am a big responsibility, because I know that I can love so deep. It's impossible to ever forget about me. It's impossible not to love me. Like, I am loved by everyone who has ever come into my life, even if they think that they don't like me, and that's okay. But like, this is the fucking truth. That's the imprint that I leave on this earth, on this world, in these realms, in all realms and dimensions of existence. Like, that is me. And because of that, I also know that it's a big requirement to honor the embodiments that I am and the responsibility that comes with that. And that means you have to love you. You have to love you so much so that you know how to honor me. And if you don't love you in that way, you're not going to be able to honor me in that way, because you're still trying to figure that out with yourself. And that's okay. I love you anyway. I love you enough. I love me enough to let you be in your space of where you need to grow. And where I could allow myself to continue to flow, yes, in the weak consciousness of expansion, right? Like, it's all in there. Although you hear me saying me, you, I, that is because this full moon in Aries is about the independent self in the practicality. And this is the thing. A lot of people want to spiritually bypass self-care because they're like, oh, well, I am all one with the divine, so I don't need to wash my ass like for 10 days in a row. Like, maybe, you didn't need to take a bath for like a day or something like that. I don't know. But like 10 days is kind of wild. Do you really love yourself? A lot of the times when you stop caring for yourself, it's because you've fallen into a space of depression. You've fallen into a space of deep anxiety, and you may not even be aware of it. Right? But it's also safe to say that people who are depressed do take showers every day too. And they do, trigger warning, all right, y'all. There are people that have taken showers every day. They look good, and people would not even know that they're struggling internally with some things because they don't know how to ask for help. They're holding on to things, and then boom, they commit suicide. Right? Financial changes, worldly changes like this, the squares to Mars, the square to Pluto has a major impact, not only for like accidents, but also suicidal ideations, intrusive thoughts that will make, energies, shadows that will make a person feel unworthy. And so again, if you stay grounded in your Muladhara in a way that you trust your foundation, you trust that you are worthy, you trust your sacral, you trust that you are creative, right? That Venus sextile Pluto later on in that evening is gonna kind of give that sensuality to kind of remind you how creative you actually are, and allow yourself to really get in that energy. I invite you to get into that energy, as shadowy as it is. Have some kinky sex, y'all, for some of y'all, if that's what y'all need. Like, there's a thing called sexual healing, and I'm all for it, right? Like, that might be a thing, but it may also be that, Venus in Scorpio, as much as it could be kinky sex, it could also be celibacy. Y'all, are you experiencing a lag or, do y'all still hear me well? My screen was just doing some weird shit here. Let me know if y'all can still hear me. So there was also a thing about like rejection. I want to keep going, but I don't see the comments move. Okay, cool. Y'all do hear me. Okay, cool. So there was a theme coming up about like rejection and fear also coming up. And so it's important for you to check you know, do the internal check if there's any like abandonment issues, if there's any, and these things can be subconscious, right? The reason why, again, checking in with self in a way to get into the collective, the super consciousness, is as you dive deeper in with yourself in a way, not self of ego, it's honoring ego, knowing that it serves a purpose for what it is, but even viewing self beyond self in egoic language, right? But as source, as you dive into the source within you, the God within you, the versions within you that perhaps you may have been neglecting or rejecting, you then get to allow yourself to open yourself up to expand into a greater space of love. You allow yourself to expand into a greater space of wholeness, of we, of us, of you and I in the universe singing a song that is in harmony of each other, right? And so this journey, as much as we are all in the wholeness, in the macro, we are one, right? The one self, the micro self reminds us, as above, so below, as within, so without. So the one self is the macro self also, right? And so you can laugh at these things. It's not to stay so serious in a space where, you know, you're not allowing yourself to have fun. There are certain transits that want you to have fun, but this is a transit of allowing yourself to really get into the healing work that you've been neglecting and rejecting. You know, can you get into these spaces without, you know, for some of y'all, it is, you know, on a sober note. For some of y'all, like, you know, and this is, everyone is different, right? Like, you know where your quote unquote issues are or troubles are, right? What needs change in your life. So, I'm going to go more into the signs and the houses in just a moment. Can somebody give me the time? Because I know at the hour mark, it's going to cut me off. But let's see here. What starseed message do we have here for the collective for this full moon in Aries? What is the starseed message here? Keepers of the earth. You are not alone. Ancient ancestors stand beside you. Ashe. And I really do feel that as you are going through this healing, as you are, you know, sometimes we appear alone physically because we have to do the journey. It's 10. Okay, so it's getting closer to the hour mark. Break the chain. Yes, this is what the fuck we're doing. In the bottom of the deck, it says break the chain. Ancestral patterns, healing, and rewriting the future. Y'all, this moon in Aries is also conjoined the North Node. What do you have to release of your old story, of the old ancestral stories that's not serving you? And how can you allow yourself to, we are the new ancestors, right? How are we rewriting this story moving forward, right? There's ancestors that they lived a beautiful life and they did so many good things, and we can tap into that generational wealth. We can tap into their prayers. We can tap into their protection. We are them. They are in ourselves, in our celestial realm. Like, literally, we share DNA with them. In the same token, we are a transfiguration, a transformation, a transcendent version of them as well. And so it's allowed for us to transform the past story into a new story, which means all the history that you think you know and everything like that, all the indoctrinations, it served its purpose to be utilized as a tool, not for you to stay stuck in those stories, but for you to utilize it like you would a screwdriver, right? Or some other, like a wrench, right? or ratchet, right? If you want to be ratchet, utilize the tool to build this new future that you are looking to manifest. And so it's important at this time to hold the vision. When these squares to Mars, when the square to Pluto occurs, and all these hardships, these triggers, right, occur, hold the vision of the version of yourself in the future that you see, but be in the awareness of now. Because you don't want to get lost into the future. You're not there yet, right? Like the past doesn't exist and the future doesn't exist. All that exists is here and now. But if you hold the vision, that vision stays in the here and now. And so it exists here and now as well. And so embody and become the version of you. Act like if you've been here before. That's what I'm hearing. Act like you've been here before. Meaning the version of yourself, your highest timeline, your greatest timeline. Act as if you are already in your highest timeline. Live as if you already been there, like you've been doing it on a day-to-day basis already. And that's how you're going to see the quantum leap, the quantum shift. Akasha in the bottom of the deck, a lot of you may be tapping into your Akashic records, into the Akasha realm. Akasha is actually an entity as well that you can connect with, which is different from a mentee, but they do have both access to the Akashic records, if you will. Obviously, Akasha is more in the ancient space of Akash, right? The Akash. And so Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. All right, so you are being divinely guided here. Really tapping into that, y'all. Let me get any additional messages that we have to share with the collective here. Paying attention to your dreams. Some of you may be doing a lot of astral work or tapping into your Akasha in your dream realm. So if you feel like you're actually like either talking in your sleep or talking to yourself when you wake up, if you're remembering what it is, write it down at that moment. Yeah, because there might be some like brain fog or like head injuries or stuff like headaches, maybe even, that may be making it hard to concentrate later on during these moon transits. So keeping that in mind. Also, for some of you, you want to, I was talking about getting really spicy. They're kind of bringing me back. So with Venus in Scorpio, Venus in Scorpio can be very kinky. It could also be very celibate, okay? And with its sextile Pluto, but also with the moon squaring Pluto, this could also be, for some of you, okay, this can be miscarriages, this can be disalignment or diseases and stuff that get sexually transmitted and stuff like that. So really take precaution in that. When I said in the beginning of this live to be careful, again, you want to be careful in every aspect. But if you know that you are, you know, dealing with the same partner and you're doing things in a really nurturing, healing way, then allow yourself to embrace, because one of the biggest messages also is to not be in fear and to open the heart space, right? And so that is the greatest song of the universe, is the song of love. And when you reject your self-pleasure out of fear, then you are rejecting yourself of love. You're rejecting yourself of fun, of pleasure, of experience, of what you actually came on this earth to do. You came on this earth to feel. You came on here to thrive, to be the version of yourself that you want to express and experience, right? And so when you neglect yourself of those things, it kind of shrinks the heart space. And so your magnetism kind of starts closing in, and then that affects your abundance, and which is connected to your sacral as well. And that could be a disalignment. And so if you're feeling called to get spicy, or you're feeling called to express in that way, allow yourself to, hey, have fun responsibly. Have fun. Open up your heart. Open up your magnetism, right? Allow yourself to, and if that magnetism is in a way of like you really enjoy your celibacy, honor that. That is so beautiful too. Like that is a beautiful journey. It may be celibacy, it may be abstinence, whichever rocks your boat. If you are doing it from a space of love and pleasure and joy, that is very different from doing it from a space of fear and scarcity and rejection and neglection. Like, no, you're not rejecting yourself, you're honoring yourself. So you know what is best for you in that way. If you want to be a little hoochie mama, go be a little hoochie mama, you know, if that's what rocks your boat, but do so responsibly, all right? Because we have the moon opposite Mercury, though, just know that I invite you to ask all the questions, because there may be some secrets there that people are not, Mercury is in the sign of Scorpio right now, which is secrets. So there may be some secrets or, things that people may not be trying to tell you, and that might be really important for you. That can be a challenge later. So ask the questions, be mindful of how you ask the questions, but don't be afraid to ask questions either. And if you feel like you don't understand something or it's taking you a little bit longer to process that information, again, because the moon is opposite Mercury at that time, it's okay. It'll take time. I mentioned some brain fog. I mentioned, this can be feeling a little like slow or bonded, to that. So essentially, for some people, they might just really be stubborn and stuck in their ways and not know how to open their minds to new ideas. Or there could be a lot of fears, right? Because the moon is in Scorpio. Scorpio is about mysticism. It is about magic, and reclaiming your magic back is a major invitation for this. But it could also seem like, a little bit of, being afraid to maybe speak your truth or something because you don't want to hurt somebody else's feeling. Scorpio doesn't do that in a way of people pleasing, but more so in a way that they feel binded or trapped or tied to be in a certain way due to a certain image, and that's on their shadow side. That's in the shadow side. It could also be lies, deception. Okay, so this moon is gonna have a lot of tricky energy out there to navigate through. Okay, so just allow yourself to have the experiences while being the observer, honoring all versions of yourself. By honoring self and not spiritually bypassing, you actually allow yourself to spiritually expand and fly into so many different realms and dimensions of yourself. And essentially, you magnetically attract the abundance that you've been wanting to call in, as well as, reclaiming your power back. So the card that came out, Awakening, it says energetic upgrades, a new way of being, and integration. All right, I love that. And the answer is yes. Okay, just say yes. It's all coming together. Intuitive hits, so tribe. And how can you mother yourself? So some of you may have mother. We have transformation. Things are changing on a cellular level, deep healing. So taking this opportunity for deep healing here. So this is also like connecting with the star mother. And taking a leap of faith. You go first. The universe will catch you with leap. Taking that leap of faith here. All right, one more card, and then I'm just going to let you know briefly. I think I'm going to pull it from the tarot. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, see, in the bottom of the deck here, it says take a break, a life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. So for some of you, you might need to take a break. And the bottom of the deck of the affirmations is the Vihistara, and it's because my eyesight just went there, and we were talking about Mercury. And so it's the Vihistara is the throat chakra of communication. And it says, I communicate openly and honestly to express my thoughts and feelings clearly. I share my inner knowledge freely with integrity and without fear. My aim is to be fully understood by others. I am open to giving and receiving praise, and I will be careful not to talk excessively and make it all about me. I create space in my conversations for others to communicate with me. I inquire about others' thoughts and feelings, as listening to their truth can be uplifting. And I love that. Remember, treat people how you want to be treated. You want to be heard, right? But it's also good to listen to other people as well. And like Logan had mentioned earlier, he said we, right? And so while this energy is very independent and about self, essentially, you don't want to be so selfish to where you're forgetting that you are part of a great scale of the collective consciousness as well, and others matter too, right? And so, speaking without fear, we just spoke about that, right? Speaking with integrity. So like releasing any deception, even if it's self-deception or deceptions to others, right? And so if these affirmations are hitting, like I said, go back, watch the replay, pause it, write it down, say it out loud. Put it in front of your mirror. Put it in your journal. Say it 3 times. All right? Affirm it. If you have issues speaking up and telling the truth, right? All right. Spirit, what additional messages? What is the final message for the collective for this full moon in Aries? Yes, full moon in Aries, and then I'm going to get to the houses. Thank you. I told you the Vihistara, right? The Vihistara, throat chakra, the Anahata, the hearts. We have the Lover's card here. And I know this filter is shitting the fucking cards right now. Here. So there could be a lot of, remember I was talking about passions here. This is self-love. This is love with others. This could also be a head of a heart decision. The Lovers has a lot of energies when it comes down to making decisions, right? It's also connected to Gemini, and we do have Jupiter in retrograde at this time, which I am going to do another video on this week. So pay attention to that, as that may play a big role. Right now, Jupiter is about expansion, right? And Jupiter is in his detrimental sign, and it's in retrograde right now. So you're talking about abundance, you're talking about expansion. Jupiter, as much as Jupiter wants to give blessings for abundance, sometimes Jupiter also takes things away to expand you in the blessings of abundance, right? So sometimes that like rejection is protection for your expansion and stuff like that. Or sometimes you are being called to make that head of a heart decision, right? In that. So, allowing yourself to really take care of your heart space at this time, right? Because as much as Aries represents the head, Mars in Cancer also does have connections with the heart. Pluto also has connections with the heart. Pluto in Capricorn specifically has connections with bones. So things going on with like your teeth or your skeletal structure, or even your skin may, these are areas of transformation here. And so just really being mindful of your heart space. Oh, and I was going to tell you about the crystals. So I will. In the bottom of the deck, though, we also have the Four of Wands. So I do see a lot of unions coming together. This could bring your love to a higher level. This could also be that perhaps, you meet somebody and that, through all the shadow work that you've been doing, through all the healing that you're doing, you are now magnetically and spiritually connected. If you are single, attracted to your partner. And to tie it all together with the Lovers card and the Four of Wands here, any type of healing work that you may have done through any forms of like rejection, neglection, separations, anything in that aspect here, this is actually you bringing you into a space of greater love for yourself, that brings you in divine union with yourself, that allows for that magnetic attraction to happen between you and an actual partner. If you are single, right, you may find yourself in that space unexpectedly, coming and meeting someone, connecting with somebody that is equally yoked as you and receptive in that. For others of you, this could be, that you're having to choose make a head of a heart decision when it comes down to, certain marriages. But essentially, this is about a sacred marriage and you getting into that space with integrity, with love, with balance, and celebrating yourself in that, honoring your worthiness, honoring your commitment with that. And knowing that even with the Four of Wands, this brings a lot of stability into your path. So, the parts of you that were being rejected, the parts that were neglected, the parts that needed the separation, it needed to happen for you to find yourself in a new stable foundation with yourself for this union to occur. The union first with you and Source, and then with you and a divine counterpart in the physicality here. Okay, and so take that how it resonates, y'all. And if you are already in a relationship, the same thing kind of applies, right? If the areas of yourself where you may have been perhaps rejecting or neglecting your partner, your spouse, yourself in that, by taking more care of those areas and allowing yourself to really be in harmony and union with your inner masculine and feminine energies in that sacred marriage of self and Source, you can honor the sacred marriage of you and your union. Your partner is a divine reflection of who you truly are internally. Even if you think you don't like things about your partner, the things you don't like about your partner, the things that you have allowed yourself to say, I'm tolerating this, I don't really like this, or this, that, and the third, but it's still a part of you. You're entertaining it or accepting it, right? Essentially, your partner also expresses versions of yourself that perhaps you don't express in your ways, but you chose that individual because you see them as a divine reflection of self, of Source. And so that's in the between the macro and the micro in that space. They said, you not cute. And I said, I am. I don't give a fuck what you think, because I am. I'm cute. I'm so cute. I like to cut. I put the C-U-T in cute. And I be like, ee, when I do it. Yeah. And if you don't know what that means, that's okay. I do. So, anyway, yeah, so going into it, trolls, right? Oh, God, they're so funny. They see some fairies, they think they want to be trolls. Like, yeah, I don't even know. Oh, you want to be a troll? I can shapeshift into a troll too. We can change filters over here. We can do that. Because the troll in you, the troll in me recognizes the troll in you. So anyways, let's get into it, y'all. We are going to get into these houses here. So if you, so if you, for Aries, this energy is happening in the first house for you. I'm going to do one card per thing just because we had like a whole hour tangent for every sign. So I am going to be editing this like I mentioned in the very beginning of the video so that it's all one solid message, and then we'll be moving into the sign. So if you're watching this part, I'm not editing this part, this is just going to be here. I want you to listen for your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. And then also check out where your Chiron is placed at, and check out Mars and Pluto if you want. Just because of those squares. So Aries and Aries rising, this energy is happening in your first house. The first house is the body, because you have a lot of the squares with Mars and Pluto happening, and you also have the conjunction with Chiron, and you are also conjoined the North Node. You are going to feel massive transformation in your body at this time. You may be feeling really exhausted or needing to get some rest. In that you might feel more hermit mode or a strong need for independency. There may be some fears for change in this space. And so if you are feeling any hyper sensitivity or anxiety, take this as a time for you to possibly take a break. Allow yourself to tap into what your body is saying. Ask your body, hey body, what can I do for you at this time? How can I nurture you at this time? Thank your body for existing. Thank you, body, for being the vessel, the vehicle for my spirit to have this human experience, right? And allowing yourself to just be mindful of any, because again, with the square in Mars and the square in Pluto, this could also be bodily injuries. And so you do want to be mindful of that. And for those of you who are not an Aries but are watching this, I do invite all people, because this moon is happening in the sign of Aries, to take heed to these messages. As this is the more collective energy in that. But let's see here. What card do you get, Aries, here? Aries, you have the Six of Cups here. Okay, so the Six of Cups here feels like the moon squaring Mars in Cancer energy, because the Six of Cups is about reflecting and reminiscing on the past, right? It's remembering all the joys, the satisfactions, the good memories, childhood memories, all right? And this good, bad, or indifferent, this is just like reminiscing energy, a lot of reminiscing, a lot of flashbacks, if you will. This could be emotional flashbacks as well. And this could be also like ancestral or past life energy, right? With the square, what I'm feeling with the square here is, don't let your past hold you back to moving forward. Don't let the past hinder you from being able to find joy and love and satisfaction in yourself today and now. Don't let your past be so in control of your identity of who you are today. It served a purpose. It served a lesson. How can the past become wisdom for you? How can you allow it to be different fluids or liquids that you need to navigate for your scientific, I don't even know why that word wants to come out that way, experiment, if you will, for your future to go ahead. Yeah, I feel like I'm not making sense. Café. Okay. For exploring the rounds with yourself. For some of you, this is like past life regression. I'm kind of getting, but nonetheless, this is really like breaking those generational patterns and feeling challenges when it comes down to your emotions. Aries, I know sometimes you're either very, very, very stubborn and fiery and charged with your emotions. So this could be truly like being emotionally reactive, and so being mindful of that. But for some of you, this is also like maybe you've been hindering your expressing your emotions out of like fears and stuff like that, of like past pain and stuff like that. And so really allowing yourself to express your emotions in that. In the bottom of the deck, we have the Two of Wands here, which tells me I felt like this was about a challenge or a square. You know, essentially, you have the world in your hand for all the potentials, but you have to allow yourself to let go of the past and not let that bring you to a space of being in a crossroads for this. And like there could be something about like maybe even some family members or an accident or something challenging you at this time, that's challenging you to get in your power, is challenging your dominance. And so again, being mindful of emotionally reacting to what challenges are. Be emotionally responsible. Be mindful of that. And what I meant to do was talk about the crystals for the collective. So I'm going to do that as a separate video. And so we're going to move forward. Taurus, this energy is happening in your 12th house. Taurus, this energy is happening in your 12th house, which means there's going to be a lot of dreams that's going to be activated at this time. You might actually get a lot of premonitions at this time. You may wake up a little bit like feeling like not understanding or knowing the subliminal messages in your dreams, or your dreams can bring you a lot of anxiety. This could also be that perhaps you find yourself, you know, getting certain phone calls or having dreams in the hospital. Because the 12th house is the house of the subconscious mind, but it's also hospitals, it's also poisons, it's also medicines, it's also addictions here. So Taurus, if you're dealing with certain addictions that you've been wanting to clear out, this is your invitation to start clearing those things out. Maybe you work in the medical field and you're just going to be finding yourself having certain challenges at work in that area. If you do work in the medical field, this could also be just, again, some changes in the area. I feel a lot of dream work. I feel a lot of psychic energy. So let me get kind of grounded. See, just tapping into your energy, Taurus, with it being in the 12th house is a bit chaotic. So I'm going to invite you, Taurus, to do a little bit of grounding work. Honor your intuition. Your intuition is going to be really heightened at this time, but you're going to have to allow yourself to know, to listen to your intuition and not your trauma voice, because the moon is also going to be conjunct the wounded warrior, Chiron. You know, your traumatic voice may be really loud at this time. And so, you're really going to want to allow this to be an invitation for you to listen to your spiritual gifts at this time, to really tap into your psychic visions, to tap into your intuition, to really take heed to any of your dreams. if you have a hard time, I don't know Tauruses to have a hard time with boundaries, with setting boundaries. But if you do, this is the invitation for you to utilize these boundaries. But I feel like these boundaries are really for you, Taurus, because you might want to, you might be feeling like, you know, you might get angry enough to want to put somebody in the hospital. You know, you might get so triggered that you might want to fight somebody, and you be like, I don't give a fuck if I put that bitch in the hospital or something like that. Excuse my French, but that's what it is. And it might be an invitation for you to set some boundaries with yourself so that you don't get emotionally stimulated and triggered in a way to where you not only now put somebody in the hospital, but you kind of self-sabotage yourself into having an experience, maybe getting locked up or something like that, or hurting yourself in the process. Where it's really detrimental, right? And I share that because this moon is really intense. And Taurus, let's just face it, when y'all get angry, when y'all get in that space, y'all could be a bully, y'all can be very you know, hurtful in a sense. And so that's a little bit of the shadow side energy that I'm seeing with this, you know, Taurus. So if that message resonates for you, you know, let's take a deep breath in together through our nose. Exhale. Go take a cold shower, curse me out later. That ain't got nothing to do with me. Go deal with yourself. All right. This is your invitation to set healthy boundaries with yourself. The 12th house is the house of dissolution as well. It dissolves. It has some self-sabotaging tendencies here. It has some addictive traits. It also does not know boundaries, because the subconscious mind, it works even without the consciousness telling it, right? But when you give it a conscious command, aka a boundary or something to do, a call to action, then it now, you know, you're naturally breathing subconsciously all the time. But when you consciously take that breath, you are harmonizing and grounding into the subconscious together. Exhale. You are working with the subconscious realm. And so this could also be that perhaps you're going to be getting activations in the subconscious, in the spirit realm, or in the astral realm. Perhaps if you're really spiritually in tune, this can be doing a lot of astral work. This could be activations, even doing some like psychic defense classes or protective work. Here, your card is the Ace of Cups, and it says love potion. Taurus, I love this. You know, Taurus, although this is at the 12th house here, we did have Venus also in the sign of Scorpio sextiling Pluto and Capricorn. And so this could be a lot of that, like, you know, that passionate energy with yourself and your emotions as well. Maybe you have some fantasies that you've been wanting to explore, but you were letting your fears get in the way of exploring, right? Maybe there were some old traumas that were getting in the way of you subconsciously, and you know, you wasn't able to really nurture yourself and loving yourself. And, you know, Venus is your natural ruler, you know, so this is an invitation to explore the avenue of love on a deeper level, so much so that it allows for you to break free out of the stubbornness and the bonds that's been holding you back, but enough to say that, you know, when you hurt somebody, you also hurt yourself in the long run. Right? So if you are getting triggered by somebody and you feel like fucking them up or something like that, just know that that also can hurt you in the long term, right? As a form of self-sabotaging. So kind of just like not biting your tongue, because again, this is about opening your heart, opening your heart space. But doing it out of space where, like, you could even laugh. You know what I do sometimes, y'all? Like, I blow people kisses when they think that they finna get on my nerves. Like, it depends on where I'm at on that day with my level of consciousness. But, like, one of my favorite things to do is, like, if you think that you're going to fuck up my day, I give them a little kiss. Sometimes it feels like a kiss of death, but, you know, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. You gotta let them go. Kill them with kindness. All right. Hey, Third Eye, welcome. 532, okay? So we have Gemini. Gemini, this energy is happening in your 11th house. The 11th house is the house of your community, your friends. It's, well, the 11th house is not the house of community, it's the house of friends. It's the house of your angelic system here. So, you know, this is a big invitation to invite your angels in at this time. This is also that you may find yourself not in alignment with the same groups of peers, with the same group of friends that you once had. You might find yourself maybe going a little bit like feeling like you want to be hermit mode, but feeling like an energetic pull to your friends. So this is where you're going to have to balance that Gemini energy, right? Is because Aries energy is very independent, right? But when it's in the 11th house here, this is where, like, you might get a lot of phone calls of, you know, from your friends that, you know, asking for help or giving you some news or just wanting, and you're feeling like, damn, like, yo, can I just have time to myself? Like, I just want to have time. Like, some of you, right? Maybe feeling triggered and wanting alone time, but your friends are going to be needy of you. This could also be an invitation that if you're in the position to help a friend out, this will be very beneficial and benevolent for your growth and their growth. This could also be that perhaps people from your past that you were friends with before might try to come in to communicate with you, and you're going to have the discernment to say, is this person somebody that is actually in alignment with my North Node? Maybe I was being stubborn before. Maybe they were being stubborn before. Maybe it just wasn't the right time. Maybe it was a lesson that we both needed to learn. And now is the time that we both can move forward towards our North Node together, and we can reconcile this friendship. Right? But for some of you, this is actually getting into the awareness that this friendship may not serve you, and it's time to separate from that. You let them go with love. It's not letting them go with resentment or with anger or with frustration, because let's be real, Gemini in the 11th house with this full moon squaring Mars and squaring Pluto, some of y'all it has the potential of getting into a fight with a friend. And if you find yourself getting into a fight, you know, like I'm talking about like a fist fight, like a real fight, is that even really your friend? Are you really their friend? How much love is really there? Perhaps this is a time in which lessons need to come to the forefront for both of you to be in the awareness of what you really value each other and mean to each other, right? This could be, maybe it's not a fist fight, maybe it's an argument. And arguments can be a way to actually challenge perspective for growth. And so depending on the disagreements or the argument, this could be a benevolent argument that is actually there to serve for the greater consciousness of both of y'all to grow. And this can later on in life strengthen your friendship, but it might be really tough at first to see in the moment. just because of those squares, right? Nonetheless, let's see here what card you get. Oh, hello, Otis. Aries, I'm sorry. And then Crown, welcome. All right, let's see here what card we get here for Gemini. I'll take this one. Gemini, Temperance. All right. Minding your temperament, creating balance. Remember, there's a strong need for balance and healing. All right. So there may be a need for healing when it comes down to your friendships here. You may be helping a friend heal. A friend may be helping you. It could be that maybe you find yourself needing to reach out to your friends, to call them to ask for help. And it might be hard for you to ask for help. This could be because the 11th house is also environmental as well. It may be that you might actually find yourself wanting to, work on helping heal the environments or doing some collective group and finding some maybe there's, something destructive or disruptive in your close area of proximity that has to do maybe with water or the agriculture or something like that, the ecosystem, if you will. And it triggers you to the point where you're actually wanting to find some sort of solution. And you come together with your friends. You have a meeting of the minds, if you will, to come up with solutions of how y'all can collectively pivot in this way. But you might have to initiate that space, or you might actually, maybe somebody else initiated it, but they don't know how to go about it. And you find yourself in the leadership position of doing all this research and stuff like that to find the solutions in that area. All right, Gemini. So this is a very psychological space for you as well. This is an invitation for you to let your friends show their wittiness, their intelligence, as well as you allow yourself to show your intelligence and share in that space. So balancing that out though, right, with your temperament. This is where some disagreements can come into place, or because y'all can have different views or perspectives or ways of doing things, right? And so the meetings of the mind is going to be an interesting space for y'all, but nonetheless, this is to bring healing onto yourselves and the collective. And again, for those of you that's coming in now, I did some affirmations in the first half of the video. So again, I invite y'all, the one for communication and Vihistara, I invite y'all, Geminis, to actually repeat those affirmations and really sit with that and what that might mean for you. Because as much as the Aries energy is going to want to make it about yourself, this is not about just you. And so allow yourself to be that angel that lets your friends thrive too. Or, share the space with your friends. And that might feel difficult or challenging at this time because maybe you're dealing with some friends that are going through a really hard time, and you're going through a really hard time, and they may not even take that in consideration, or feel like they're taking that, you may feel like they're not taking that into consideration. And so you might actually have to communicate that with them. Listen, I love you, but I'm actually going through a really hard time right now. And as much as I would like to consider what you are going through and holding space for you, I'm also going through this space too. So, I could only meet you in the best space that I'm at right now, or something like that, right? But have that communication with them. I feel like there's so many more examples to share, but for time's sake and just right now I'm kind of drawing a blank. I feel like whatever messages needed to come out just came out. So take what resonates. We're going to move forward to Cancer. Cancer, this energy is happening in your 10th house. This is the house of public reputation and career. And so you might find yourself having some difficulties when it comes down to work. Some of you Cancers may actually let go of a job or be let go of a job. There may also be that perhaps the career in which you are working in doesn't feel like it's strongly resonating with your soul's north node, right? With what it is that you really want to be doing moving forward. So you might find yourself feeling a lot of challenges or having some challenges there. There could be some issues at work. I would be mindful of traveling to work when it comes down to you know, the moon squaring Pluto, the moon squaring Mars, the moon in conjunction with Chiron, you know, and then the moon opposite Mercury. This is, you know, there could be some accidents or delays on your way to work, or on your way back home from work. So just really being mindful. This could also be perhaps experiencing an injury during work. And so if you experience an injury during work, this may be a message for you to take a break from work. Maybe you're gonna be receiving some workers' compensation or something like that, some workers' comp. But it may be a need for you to take a break in that space, Cancer. If those are things that occur in regards to like an injury or some havoc of some sort in that way. If it's just like gossip or somebody trying to jeopardize your reputation, I will be mindful of any form of deception in the workspace as well. This could also be on a minute level. It could be, you know, maybe somebody just trying to gossip. This could be maybe receiving a write-up or something at work where you're like, by the way, you can refuse to sign a write-up if you don't agree with what was written about you. Yes, that is negotiable. That is your right. That is a right, okay? Just to let y'all know, because some of y'all don't be knowing this and y'all just be signing shit, and y'all don't have to sign those write-ups. Like, your boss will have to refuse to sign up, and they cannot fire you necessarily for that, depending on what it is. But anyways, that's why you have HR. But you might find yourself needing to communicate with HR. There may be some sort of challenges or something like that. If there's some form of deception or something like that, I would say, you know, being mindful if somebody's like, you know, not trustworthy and you have to work with them, like, you know, dotting your I's, crossing your T's around this individual, especially if like money is involved, right? If money's involved, so that way you're not getting the blame for anything that somebody else may be doing or something like that. If you've been thinking about doing some criminal minded shit, Cancers, I wouldn't take the risk to do it at this time. This could be very detrimental to you and your reputation. All right. On a brighter side, this could be that, you know, you leave one position for a higher position because, you know, I don't really see that right away, but this is a potential. So I have to say it, right? Like, you could leave one position for another position due to your public reputation here, because we do have Venus sextiling Pluto in Capricorn, right? And so that sextile is you honoring your worth and your value and being in the magnetism of that. And you are water, right? So bending the water molecules to actually shapeshift into the experience that you will like in that space. And let's just also face it. Mars is in your sign of Cancer. And so it can feel a little bit challenging and tough throughout the day, you know, because of that square that's going on. And so a lot of emotions are going to come up in around work in that area, or if it's not work, it's just based on your reputation. You know, this could be that, you know, other people outside of work are, you know, challenging who you really are at your core, and you're like, what? Like, that's really hurtful. That's not who I am. And so it's an invitation for you to really shine in your truth of who you are. All right, let's see what card here we get here for y'all, Cancer. Hello, everyone who is coming in. One card, thank you. Y'all have the King of Wands here. All right, so when it comes down to your reputation and the King of Wands, this is actually an invitation for you to get in a position of leadership. Maybe perhaps you haven't allowed yourself to feel confident in a leadership position or taking initiative or really being in a space of power. Or you could be an individual that's like overly aggressive and manipulative and trying to overpower others. You know who you are, all right? This could also be that maybe you're a really good worker, but you haven't felt like they are recognizing you for your skills and talents in that space. Nonetheless, though, the King of Wands, he is very magnetic and is a leader. So I do see the leadership abilities being amplified for you, Cancer, but there's some sort of challenge there about like power. So I'm not sure if it's a power struggle or you know, some of you Cancers, maybe you don't feel worthy of stepping into that power. Maybe you're used to being like codependent on others, and you're being pushed into the position of like actually leading in a space, and like that brings you some fear or some challenges. Or if you found yourself already in that space, are you one of those leaders that's like really like you like to bind people, or like a tyrant kind of, you know, are you that type of leader? Right? So just being mindful of any like, you know, trying to suppress people, right, in that space, right? If you are like a boss or a leader or something like that. There could also be that perhaps there's, you know, you're experiencing that in the workplace where somebody's trying to keep you from like elevating up, and you kind of see that, right? Doesn't have to pertain to work. Like I mentioned, it could be outside of work, just in places where it has to do with your longevity, your long-term contracts, right? Your reputation with others. And so take whatever messages resonate for you. Hi, Nikki. Oh, long time no see, beautiful soul. Oh, I'm so happy to see your name there. Welcome. All right, so we're going to move forward into the sign of Leo. Leo, this energy is happening in your 9th house here. So with this energy in the 9th house, you may be feeling called to really tap into your faith here. There's also going to be a lot of energies, maybe fantasies or desires for like international travels. This could also be feeling like if you have any obligations or anything that has to do with international travels or international communication, stuff like that. There may be some challenges or delays in that area, so being mindful. This could also be shipping or contracts in that space. Nonetheless, this is about expanding your consciousness as well, allowing your knowledge to turn into wisdom. This is also, maybe you're going to be learning or studying some philosophy at this time. And maybe you're going to be sharing these philosophies with others, but they might find it challenging. They may not understand the wisdom that you are sharing onto the collective, onto them, right? Maybe you have some wisdom from other cultures, or you're going to be connecting with people of other cultures. This could also be learning another language, or if you have like a career that or a business that has to do with like shipments from another country or something like that, there may be some challenges, some delays here. You know, you might be having to be called into a position where maybe you're going to be doing prayers, or you're going to be doing some sort of energy work, some sort of having to take some sort of initiation when it comes down to something of other cultures or other places of the world. This could also be, you know, maybe you meeting somebody on the internet or something like that from another country or something like that. And yeah, you know, it brings you into, it could be into a challenging conversation, or it could just be something that sparks you up to like something that sparks you up, that's going to be leading you to move forward, to continue to get to know each other. But it's actually initiating like inner healing for yourself in that space. For some of you, this is like, I'm getting like that eat, love, pray kind of like energy, where like, you know, you take an international trip for some healing of some sort. This is not the case for all of you, okay? This could be a lot of challenges also when it comes down to international travels or international, I'm hearing like international affairs or interference here. And so really just being mindful of that, what that might look like for you. Yeah, I have the 5 of Wands. So there could be some like challenges when it comes down to anything that's about overseas. This could be some competition. You know, so maybe you work in a competitive field, or maybe yeah, maybe you work in a competitive field, or you work in a field that is like worldwide, and there's going to be lots of challenges and things that you need to pivot in that way. I would definitely be mindful. This could be, again, like some form of abuse. So what I'm seeing here, Leo, with this energy in the 9th house, and the challenges is perhaps there's going to be some sort of like event that is going to happen internationally, or that is happening now, that's requiring you to, you know, have faith in holding the vision forward of what it is that you want to see on a higher level for that energy in that space, and also kind of directing some energy into that space. They might need those prayers. They might need that assistance here, or you might be bringing to the awareness of others, right? It may be that there's a lot of things that's happening in other places of the world that people in your community and environment don't even know what the fuck is going on over there, and you're sharing this information with them. This could also be like kind of in a neutral stance, is kind of how I want to say this, like where you're seeing the lessons of what is happening internationally and whatnot. And you're able to share those lessons in a way of wisdom. Just like, you know, if you're reading something, mythology, right? Or some sort of philosophy, if you will, you're taking these stories, the sciences, you're taking this could even be religious text. This could be mythology. So take it where it resonates, right? And you challenge, you ask questions about those things, or you utilize it in a way that you're able to find the wisdom and the lesson in it, and you share that with others. All right. And that might be challenging to the people around you, but nonetheless, that's where you're going to, you might find your conversations just leading in that direction, because we have the moon opposite Mercury and all those squares. It could be that, perhaps you find yourself in an argument with somebody of a different religion or somebody of a different belief system even. So just being mindful of how those conversations can go when it comes down to politics, religion, your belief system, philosophies, etc. There may be some challenges there, but there's also an invitation for you to dive deeper into those spaces for wisdom and allow yourself to explore how that is helping you as well as helping the collective. All right. We are moving forward to Virgo. Virgo, this energy is happening in your 8th house. This Virgo, y'all are going to really want to tap into your own power with this. Y'all are going to be putting boundaries in. Some of y'all may be feeling super kinky or super rejecting of kinks, like I mentioned before, with that Venus in Scorpio, sextile Pluto in Capricorn, right? This energy is going to be really spicy for you. It's going to be, in that space where you're going to want to move in with that. But, you might find yourself having so much surge of creativity. And maybe someone's gonna want to try to take your power from you or challenge you in your energies, or maybe you're wanting to do something, create something, co-create with the universe something, and people are they're not seeing the vision, or they're rejecting your vision or something like that. And it's about being steadfast on that. Oh, fuck. Did I fuck up the cards really quick? I did. Give me just a moment. So just, really allowing yourself, to kind of, call your power back. This energy is also with taxes and other people's resources here. This energy is about bondage. This energy is about occultism, mystery. And we did talk about, how this energy also can have some deception in it and whatnot. And so Virgos, are you being deceptive in this energy? Is there some sort of the healing that you gotta go through because maybe people lied to you in the past and it's now challenging you with trust issues? Do you gotta work on some trust issues? Do you gotta heal in that space? Do you trust yourself? Do you trust others? Are you binded or bounded to your past situations? Are you in a toxic relationship? Are you being called to release these toxic relationships, these trauma bonds, right? Are you in a space where, you're, Virgo, let's just face it. Y'all can be very obsessive as well with perfectionism, and the 8th house is the house of obsessions also. So this could be perhaps over analyzing, having some sort of perfectionism energy getting in your own way. This could also be maybe a stalker or something coming in, or some sort of OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, or something like that. So just, being very, very mindful not to let any fears get in the way of that. If you're dealing with perfectionism stuff, know that your soul is perfect and your human experiences is gonna have some mistakes. People make mistakes too. People are allowed to change the same way you are allowed to change. people are allowed to change too. Perhaps somebody deceived you in the past. Maybe they lied. Maybe they fucked up. Maybe there was a mistake made, but they learned from this mistake. Possibly not everybody. I'm just sharing the story of what's coming through, right? Maybe there was a mistake made and somebody learned from that mistake, and you're not letting it go, or you're not moving forward from it, and you're treating them and in a certain type of way that can be possibly abusive or toxic or something like that, because there's like resentment or fears, or you're feeling vindictive, you're feeling vengeful, you're feeling those types of way against this individual, and you want to like punish them, if you will, for making this mistake in which they learn from, and now you no longer trust them, but you're not willing to let go of them either. And so now it's hard for you to magnetically attract healthy, meaningful connections, because you are binding yourself or tying yourself to that, trust issues and in those aspects. And so the invitation is for you to dive into those areas, look into your traumas, heal in those spaces that you've been neglecting yourself. Know that it's okay to be honest and say, you know what, I don't trust that individual no more. And it is okay for me to let them go, and so and say like, no, I can't trust them, and find liberation in yourself to just be honest with yourself in that space. Know that there's gonna be fuck ups. You probably fucked up so many times in your relationship, but you may have not looked at it in that way, because you probably look at yourself like, I'm the perfect being. I'm perfect. I do things good. I don't make mistakes, right? And if I make mistakes, everybody got to forgive me, but God forbid I forgive somebody. Virgos, I don't mean to go hard on y'all in this way, because I love y'all too. Like I'll do, all right, y'all fellow earth signs, but I'm the messenger, y'all, right now. And these are the messages that's coming through for y'all. So, whoever got to hear it. And so letting go of some of the perfectionism when it comes down to yourself and others. This could also be hindering you from allowing yourself to connect into the collective resources of things. You might find yourself maybe relying on other people's resources more than so there could be money that's coming in, or financial shift that's coming in, where you're going to be relying on other people to assist you in this way. This could be also some sort of loan or borrowing money or government assistance. Also that this could be coming through for y'all. This could also be that maybe you're taxing yourself, you're taxing your body, you're taxing other people. And so being mindful of that, good, bad, or indifferent. Take that how it resonates. This could be also maybe there's something about taxes that, to take a look at. Some sort of contracts when it comes down to that. Hello, Devia. Welcome. And so Virgo, your card is the 7 of Swords. That makes total sense here. So with the 8th house and the 7th of Swords here, this could be some need for, some ego checking your ego, doing some reevaluation, some deep reflection, some introspection with yourself. This could be deception. Like I mentioned, this could be, an energy vampire or actual thief. Maybe there's somebody there's you could be dealing with some sort of a literal robber, or something like that. Y'all got the Devil card in the bottom of the deck. So I do feel like this is like a toxic environment or toxic people that you're having to really evaluate. There's a strong need for like releasing the trauma bonds and letting, you know, doing some cord cutting. Maybe you never did some cord cutting. Maybe you're being called to do some cord cutting. But nonetheless, this is really, you know, if somebody is taking from you, did you have the space open and vulnerable and comfortable for them? You know, really looking at your connections with people and what did you like, what did you allow, and what do you struggle with? Because with the 7 of Swords, the way that I'm seeing this with the 8th house and with your challenges here is like, did you ignore the red flags is kind of what I'm hearing. Like, are you ignoring the red flags? Did you get all the signs, symbols that you needed and you did nothing about it? So there could be some sort of power struggle that's going on there. Maybe you gave the benefit of the doubt to someone or something, and like I say, the only benefit of doubt is that doubt itself exists in there. That's the only benefit. And so this is something that, you know, if you might feel a little blindsided, but then there could be a tug of like some ego that's in there as well. That's, you know, essentially you're robbing yourself of an experience that is greater than what you are actually allowing yourself to experience. And there could be an actual, like, in some cases, there could be some sort of like thief or something like that. So being mindful, like, you know, this could be literal or metaphorical. Okay. So Virgo, that is your message. We're going to move forward to Libra. Libra, this energy is happening in your 7th house. I got to take a sip of water. I don't even need coffee with that. Hello, Angel. Welcome. I told you I'd be patient with me as I'm healing. Oh, excuse me. Libra, this energy is happening in your 7th house. So this could be massive changes when it comes down to your relationships. This could be a big time where maybe you either are receiving news from your loved ones, your spouse. This is also contracts as well here. And so you may be getting some news pertaining to a partner or your spouse. They may have gotten, you know, some bad news, or you get some bad news and you got to share with your partner. It doesn't have to necessarily be bad news, but there's definitely some major changes that's happening here, Libra, when it comes down to your relationships. This could be that perhaps you start reflecting on your past relationships, and there's a lot of healing that's occurring for you at this time when it comes down to your relationships. This could be you getting into a new relationship or you exiting a relationship because you finally, maybe you were in a toxic relationship or marriage or something and you find yourself getting a divorce of some sort. That is possible. But this could also be that maybe your relationship gets to the next level, and so you find yourself, you know, maybe you were in a regular relationship and now you got married or something like that, right? This could also be that maybe there's a changes in finances here where your partner is helping you, or you sharing like a joint account or something like that here. This could also be, I don't know why I'm getting like estate planning and stuff like that with like a partner, or creating a trust or something like that, where you have the trustee and the beneficiaries set up in a way. Maybe you have children, so doing some sort of like trust fund or something with your children. This could also be, making some sort of major decision in your life that's gonna be conducive to your long-term growth here. There could be some challenges that maybe perhaps, maybe your partner gets sick, or you get sick during this time and your partner might have to take care of you or something like that. This could also be on a shadow side. This could be like domestic violence. And so if you are in those type of relationships, I invite you to seek some therapy, seek some help. Definitely don't ignore the red flags. Don't allow yourself to stay in abusive relationships. Seek help. Know that it's okay to find support in other people. Call any law enforcement if you need to protect yourself, okay, if it's that type of environment, because we do have the square happening. Libra, if you're dealing with some sort of domestic partnership and stuff like that, please, I do advise you to go seek some help, get some help. Do not be afraid to get out of your situation, as this could be something that's very detrimental to you in the long term. And, on a positive note, this could just be something that, you did some really deep healing and in the past, and you now attract like a healthy, meaningful connection. Or, maybe this relationship is going to go to the next level. And so you're gonna, with Chiron in the mix, there could be some inner child healing, or past healing of like relationship wounds and stuff like that that's coming up to the forefront for you and your partners. So maybe you find yourself getting into an argument, or it doesn't necessarily have to be an argument. This could be, an invitation for you to be, if you're in a relationship, Libra, perhaps your partner may be dealing with some sort of like hardships or depression or something like that. And this is like an invitation for you to kind of hold space for them to do their healing, but also give them enough space to be independent in their healing, as opposed to trying to control their healing. Not that I know Libras to be controlling in other people's healing aspect. But that could be something that's coming up. And so Libra, your card is the Ace of Swords here. And so a lot of truths being revealed here. This could be a separation, like I mentioned, for some of you, of a marriage or a relationship, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. I'm getting a lot of cutting the past away so that it doesn't affect your relationship with yourself and others, allowing the enlightenment and truth to be in the forefront. This could be that perhaps, there's an aha moment from healing that occurs within your marriage or your partner or something like that. I do feel like this is like moving in a threshold with one mind, like two minds becoming one here. This does feel very positive, I'm not gonna lie here. So this could be also I would definitely, on the shadow side, be mindful of your words and being reactive, because swords can be very sharp and emotionally disconnected. But nonetheless, I do feel like there's going to be some sort of decision that is going to be made in your relationship aspect of things that is coming from a space of like almost like either receiving an epiphany, if you will, and it's pertaining to your connection with your loved ones. All right, Libra. So we're going to move forward to Scorpio. Scorpio, this energy is happening in your 6th house. Your 6th house of daily routines, of pets, of healing. Okay, this energy, the 6th house is also your work. Okay, so there might be some disruptions when it comes down to your day-to-day experiences, maybe some delays, just like I mentioned for, I think it was Cancer in the 10th house. Like, you know, I would take some time, extra time, if you have to travel to work or something like that, or, you know, for your errands, give yourself some extra time. Be patient with yourself. There may be some unexpected changes in your schedule, all right, that can feel a little bit challenging or frustrating. Maybe there's some delays in some things that you know you wanted to move forward in. This could also just be that you find yourself needing to make changes in your day-to-day habit. Like, you're like, you know, this is not really sitting right with me no more. Maybe this is changing your food. This is like, you know, you're wanting to heal in a specific area, or you're just not feeling, maybe you're not feeling good at this time. And so you're really wanting to take more time in like hermit mode, if you will, giving yourself time to rest, to rejuvenate, to recover in that space here. This could be perhaps you being a healer, helping other people through injuries. This could be some sort of like shamanic practices as well. This could also be that perhaps, you know, something happens between you and like a pet. If you have a pet, maybe one of your pets gets sick or gets an injury or something like that, and you find yourself having to take them to the vet or something like that. Or maybe you find out that, you know, a pet is needing some surgery, or a pet transitions at this time, right? And so this could be very devastating for you, because you might find your pet like your family, and that's really difficult for you to receive this news at that time. Or it may be just like sporadic, unexpectedly, right? Maybe it's not news. Maybe it's something that occurs and it happens. This could be maybe even a pet running away or something like that. And you know, you having, and listen, y'all, I just helped the situation with a runaway dog. So I understand those situations do occur during chaotic times. And so just being mindful of that here. Your card is the Ace of Pentacles here. All right. So this could be a change of career. This could be a change of finances happening here. This could be that like maybe your day to day, like, you know, are you being, called to, are you like overspending? Do you have some like traumas or fears when it comes down to your self-care, when it comes down to like, for example, some people are emotional shoppers, right? Some people are emotional eaters. Some people, you know, they need to fill a void of some sort. Are you constantly finding yourself doing things to fill a void is what I'm getting with this energy. And so there's that invitation to really take a look at that here. The invitation is for self-love, but also nurture, your environment, right? So how can you make your space more loving? There could also be opportunities that's coming in on your day-to-day on a bright side. And I really like this energy here, you know, in a positive light, you know, because of the Venus sextiling Pluto and Capricorn. This can be an increase of finances or some sort of like shifting your day-to-day activities, because maybe a new project comes to mind or something like that. So you have to pivot your schedule just a little bit to make this happen, but it's something that is like better beneficial. So there are a lot of opportunities that's coming in with this energy as well. This could also be perhaps being gifted a new pet or buying a new pet. This could be making a purchase of some sort. And again, if it is about getting a pet or buying a pet, you know, in regards to like filling a void, making sure that you're still doing the shadow work, but know that it's okay. Like if you need an emotional support animal, this can be an emotional support animal that comes into your life. This could be, you know, if you're making a purchase, is it something that is investing in your North Node? Is it investing, in your healing, in your ability to not just fill a void, but expand in your future and actually complete you and be in a space that is tangibly elevating your day-to-day lifestyle, right? Or, you know, to improve your environment. So if you've been dealing with like depression or something like that, you know, I meant to do the crystals and the essential oils and the herbs in the beginning and the first half of the video. But what I'm going to do is a separate video because I'm editing all these videos into one video. If you're watching the replay, you're seeing all of this in one video. I'm going to do a separate video from this one, and you can check that out and see if there's something that, you know, you would want to connect with that is being called on the collective. But essentially listen to your intuition when it comes down to that. This could also be mirror magic and learning your value and your worthiness. All right. For your healing. So we're going to move forward to Sagittarius. Sagittarius, this energy is happening in your 5th house. Your 5th house of relationships, right? These are more like short-term relationships. They could be kind of long-term relationships, not always, but it's not like marriage. So this is the house of your relationships. This could be flings also. This could be, children. So I really do see here with Chiron in the mix and the Mars and all of that, like there's a strong invitation for inner child healing here. There could be, you know, maybe somebody lost a child or is grieving a child, or maybe a child gets sick or something like that, right? On a really, and I have to say this, trigger warning, but you know, paying attention to your child. I wouldn't let your child go any place by themselves if you're able to be with them. Maybe do a prayer of protection over children at this time, for all children, not just your children, but for all children, because this could be like, you know, maybe a child runs away or goes missing or something like that as well. And we do have a massive, you know, what's the word I want to use? Like, it's an issue right now with like even child trafficking and stuff like that, right? And so I'm not here to fearmonger or cause these things to trigger you in any way, but this could be just maybe you coming across some information in regards to that and doing some prayers or protection work in regards to that, or just maybe you're a teacher and you work, you know, with children and stuff like that, and you know, maybe some fights break out in the school and it gets a little chaotic, or you know, so just needing to be mindful of the children around you. You're going to learn a lot of lessons from them at this time. You may be called to be in the position of being a protector or a provider to children at this time. You may have some really deep trauma of your inner child that is being called to you to release these things, to heal, or at least allow yourself to forgive in these areas, right? And so, Sagittarius, let's see what card is here. At the same token, you may be feeling really encouraged to create some sort of like project that's either connected to children, working with children, or even just tapping into your inner child. Maybe you do a painting dedicated to your inner child, or you do a song or a segment. This could also be, you know, you being seen on social media or something like that, of like some sort of entertainment. Maybe you're watching some of your childhood favorite movies or something like that, or you know, some sort of entertainment, some changes. Maybe you're feeling called to like the stuff that you once listened to or liked to, you feel it's no longer resonating with you and wanting to go into another direction or something like that, right? And when it comes down to your relationships, the same thing. Maybe, you know, you change your relationship, or your relationship expands in another way, and it's like transforming. Nonetheless, it's a major change in there. There could be, you know, maybe certain arguments in your relationship or something like that that is triggered from childhood wounds or something like that. Okay. So just being mindful of that. If you are single, this could also be on another side. This could be some sort of like maybe some of you are dealing with court of like child support, or like a custody battle, or something like that could be a little bit challenging here. But that's not going to be the case for everybody. The invitation with that is to find a way to like co-parent together, so not causing the child any more trauma than they need to experience here. So just really being mindful of that as well, if that's something that some of you Sagittarius are experiencing at this time. Nonetheless, this is a very benefic house and to have, you know, as far as with these hardships and changes. So there's going to be a lot of opportunities that present itself, and I feel like the more in tune you are with your inner child in a pleasant way, without spiritually bypassing the traumas, like actually doing the healing work and tapping into that, allowing yourself to get creative with your inner child, you're gonna get a lot of opportunities that's gonna move forward, and there could be a lot of like laughter and whatnot. You have the Page of wands here, and so there could be some news, some information, some paperwork, like I mentioned, in regards to the child. This could be some news. This can be also some immaturity. Maybe there's some parts of you, maybe you're in a brand new relationship and y'all are trying to like move things really fast, but there's an invitation to kind of slow down. Don't move so fast. You know, that might be impulsive or immature. There's still, you know, this is an immature relationship. There may be some more a need to get to know each other. Don't rush the process, right? Honor the process. Maybe have more patience. This could be even pertaining to like travel or something like that. So this could be even like if your children, you know, take the school bus or something like that. Just being mindful, you know, asking questions. This could be maybe you are a public speaker. Also, this is some sort of communication and news and information that's coming in. I would also say, you know, the closer you are to your inner child, listen to what they have to say. There may be some messages for you, or even your intuition may be getting amplified, like your inner child is trying to tell you something. Perhaps you're in a space where like you're getting back to the basics or something like that. This could be writing a letter or some sort of healing and release. But I really do, this could be an email or a letter or something that either you send out or somebody sends out pertaining to the healing work and stuff like that also. If this is about like a fling thing, I would definitely be mindful, safety first, pertaining to like some news, maybe, if you were connecting with somebody and y'all got sexual and they like starting to ghost you or something like that, and there's some like rejection, really having to like take a deep look at like your self-worth and your value in that. This could also be like getting pregnant through a one-night stand and you're like, oh shit, I was not trying to like do that and that happened. This can happen in so many unexpected ways, right? Because in the 5th house, these flings do have a way of bringing in a child also. In the same token, it can lead to like, a child does not keep a relationship. Let me be clear with that. What I want to say is that this could be even having conversations in your relationship pertaining to wanting to bring a child in, or this could be some wound healing for some of you, or even, perhaps you have a partner, male or female, that has difficulties having children and is wanting to go through some healing work to heal their reproductive system to be able to get fertile and bring a child. This could be some like research or information when it comes pertaining to that. There could also be like a lineage thing, a family thing, an ancestral thing that's coming through pertaining to that type of situation. So being mindful also, Sagittarius. About if there's something about like somebody telling you that they don't want nothing serious, like take their word for it. If they don't want something serious, but you're looking for a serious relationship, honoring your self-worth and not allowing yourself to just, be impulsive and jump into an experience that, you might actually hurt yourself, rather than like help yourself. But this is about really opening the heart space to and allowing your heart space to be that magnet of that's attracting your abundance. Okay, so we're gonna move forward to Capricorn. Capricorn, this energy is happening in the 4th house. I'm gonna take a sip of water. All right, Capricorn, this energy is happening in your 4th house. The 4th house is the house of your mother, of your parents. It's both parents, but it's more specific to the mother, right? And also the home. So this could be maybe changing your furniture around. Maybe you need to clean up your home. Maybe there's some issues going on in the home or some changes. Maybe you are changing locations. Maybe you're moving home, or you're renewing a lease of some sort. This could be sudden changes or shock. If you live with other people, maybe some sort of arguments or disputes, or some havoc, some challenges occur in the home. All right, this could be just a need to find yourself being more at home as opposed to being more outside at this time. Maybe there's creating a sanctuary in the home. If your house has been feeling heavy or dense, minding, checking the feng shui, the energy flow in your home, maybe to open it up, to break any stagnant energy, because you can go out in nature, you can go out to places and, feel a lot of openness, and it feels great, and those things are encouraged, right? But when you come back home, are you in your sanctuary? Are you at peace? Right? And so there could be also opportunities to create expansion in your home. Maybe you're going to be bringing plants into the home, right? If you like nature, to, you know, improve the energy, right? Maybe, you know, if you're having trouble sleeping or something like that, this could be, you know, maybe getting some like snake plants and putting it by your bed or like around the house or something like that, or some like bamboo, just to kind of bring the energy moving around here. This could also be mother wounds, so maybe doing some deep shadow work when it comes down to your mother wounds here, or connecting or communicating with your mother here, especially when it comes down to like Chiron in the mix here, you know, taking a deep reflection with that. You could be a mother, so you can be experiencing some like just womb work. Like, this could also be, you know, I'm not sure if you're having your period at this time or whatever, but just, I feel like a lot of like incubation, whether you're a male or a female here, just like incubating in the home, really taking some time to be in that space to heal the home environment, in that if there's any trouble or anything like that. This could also be perhaps working from home or creating some sort of like, you know, maybe you're going to be learning from home, doing more things from home. It just feels like, you know, you might be canceling plans, or plans get canceled just so that you can stay at home more often. Nonetheless, this energy is, it's more in the home is what I'm getting. This could also be that perhaps you have a mother or a parent that moves into your home. Maybe they were dealing with something difficult and you might, you know, be helping them, or you might go through a hardship or hard, difficult time and you might move in with a parent or something like that. That's also something that could occur. Or you can receive some news in regards to like, you know, something happening with a parent that needs healing or something like that. So take that how it resonates. So y'all got the King of Cups here, and it did come out in reverse, but I put it upright. So there could be some sort of a need to really get into mastering your emotions at this time. You might have some triggers here that's deeply rooted to the womb space. Maybe how your parents, maybe, you know, this, it doesn't have to be the mother. It could be the father. Maybe, you know, you didn't have, you know, maybe you have some abandonment issues or rejection issues because your father wasn't always around, or you didn't feel provided for from your father or protected from your father or something like that. And maybe your mom was abusive, or your mom was jealous of you because maybe your father treated you good. Maybe your father was there and really nurturing of you, loving on you and stuff like that. There could have been some sort of childhood trauma when it comes down to like maybe your parents disagreeing, or, you know, how they treated you based on their relationship or something like that, that is now causing you to like react or respond in a certain type of way with other people as well. This could also be that maybe, you know, you moved around a lot your whole life and you didn't really know how to experience stability. And so you find yourself now in the fourth house, like in a space of being called to find some stable grounding, some stability in the home space. And because you're now finding this stability, and you're more at home and you create this sanctuary at home, you have some emotions that come up from like all the good things. So this is what I want to share, right? It's like sometimes when you get out of fight or flight mode, you're no longer in the survival space, you're in the space of thriving. You might have emotions that's coming up of like, is this too good to be true? Am I worthy of this? Is this gonna fuck up? Like, and having to like master your emotions, if you will, in that, identify them, be aware of them, but also allow yourself to like not create issues where there aren't any issues just because there aren't any issues, right? So this could be emotional manipulation in a good way or in a toxic way. And so you're going to have to be the evaluator of that, right? Nonetheless, this is you. This is you. This could be, maybe there's masculine figures or energies around you that need healing when it comes down to their emotional body, right? This can be, no, thank you. I love you. This can be, you know, I mentioned earlier on, you know, maybe you dealt with, you know, this could be like suicidal ideations, or this can be, some sort of like, because it was in reverse, right? So like toxic masculine energy around that needs healing. And so I invite you to, really, you know, just connect with a lot of compassion at this time. If you're feeling disconnected to compassion, but this is also like knowing that you are worthy of receiving more love than what you're allowing yourself, because when it's in reverse, the manipulation of emotions is conscious. It's not really subconscious. A lot of the times this is a person who knows how to trigger a person, and they're like pushing their buttons on purpose, and then they make themselves to look like innocent or something like that around others. Or maybe they don't know how to apologize, or they do things in a way that is like emotionally triggering for themselves or for you. And, you know, maybe this is the type of environment you grew up in as a child. Maybe you have this type of environment in your home now, and there's some sort of, healing that needs to happen, some in regards to that, with compassion, but with healthy boundaries and mastering the emotions again for yourself in the home environment. This could also be like a father figure coming in. This could be news about your father. This could be, I just feel like it's a lot of healing that's happening here in regards to masculine energy here. Maybe things that felt like a burden, or calming tonic. I love that. It says calming tonic here. So working with water, I would definitely say, like, you know, maybe take a spiritual bath at this time. You know, for this full moon, maybe utilizing some essential oils, and what is those things called again? You know, in the oil diffusers around the home. You know, you can use some like sandalwood or some, wormwood or something like that, to like keep any like lower density energies around and create calmness, or like some cedar or some cedar wood. These are masculine scents, some Palo Santo or something like that. These are some like masculine scents that kind of clear out any form of like depression or emotional manipulative energies, right? Have you been emotionally manipulative? Are you, this could also be on a bright side of opportunities. This can be maybe if you were in a relationship or something like that, that a partner moves in with you, or you move in with a partner, and you know, that's the change of environment of the home. So take that how it resonates. Everybody's going to have a different experience with that. So we're going to move forward to Aquarius. Aquarius, this energy is happening in your third house. This is the house of siblings. This is the house of your aunts and uncles. This is the house of community, of your neighbors. This is the house of communication, of early childhood education. All right. And so this could be, you know, perhaps, you know, things, you know, the way that you learned as a child may be challenged as an adult or something like that, right? This could be, you know, maybe the children around you, if you live by like a school or something like that, or you work in a school. This could also be creating some sort of project or educating, right? Maybe finding yourself in the leadership position in which you're going to be teaching others, or you're going to be studying something. Maybe you're going back to school at this time, right? This could be maybe you're receiving, so if you are in school, this is also the house of travel, like local travel. So being mindful again of your environment when it comes down to driving. I would say, you know, drive carefully. Here you got 2 cards here. I'll check both of them in a moment. You know, being mindful of your travels at this time. Maybe, you know, slow down. Don't, you know, go at a proper pace with it. Take some extra time with you just in case the GPS starts acting up or you get lost. You might actually want to find yourself, you know, going to a new place that you haven't been to that's local to you. It's not really like far distance travel, but like, you know, within your same state or your same city. Here, this could be, you know, taking a little weekend getaway to like, you know, what they call the staycations, right? Where like you have like a vacation, but within your immediate environment or something like that. You may get some news that's difficult, right? Or even exciting when it comes down to your aunt or uncle or a sibling of some sort here. All right. And so really being mindful of that. And communication, because the moon is going to be opposing Mercury, you know, and Mercury's in Scorpio, this energy may be a little bit challenging for you. You know, you may be wanting to call people out on their bullshit, right? This could also be like, finding yourself like in the experience of like wanting to, you know, like toxic conversations coming in and you're like entertaining it, and in the middle of you entertaining it, you're like, why the fuck am I even entertaining this conversation? Right? And so this could also be maybe I would check your emails. I would if you getting issues like logging into places, maybe changing your passwords, and writing it down so you don't lose it. This could be, you know, a game of telephone where words get twisted, so being mindful of that. This can be arguments, so being mindful of that as well, like mindful of your words and that they're not so like harsh and reckless at this time. You know, whether it's pertaining to children or it's pertaining to, you know, a sibling or an aunt, an uncle, or your neighbor. This can be an argument with a neighbor or some sort of dispute. Doesn't necessarily have to be, all right? This could just be changes in these areas or challenges, right? Maybe you live in an apartment and, you know, you have maybe people that live upstairs from you and they're like banging on the doors or something like that. I love you, love. No worries. Have a good night. Thank you for tuning in, Casey. I love you so much. And so maybe you find it difficult to concentrate. Also, maybe you're feeling a bit of brain fog. Maybe you have a headache and you have to study. Maybe you're having a test of some sort and you're just feeling really like disconnected or challenged to be able to get this done. Maybe you have some projects or some paperwork to fill out, right? This is also like contracts. So really, you know, taking your time with dotting your I's, crossing your T's. Maybe you're feeling exhausted and you got to get these things out. Nonetheless, you know, there's a need for you to, you know, kind of take it easy in these areas. You know, deal with any inner child issues, right? Maybe there's some communication that you want to have with somebody that you haven't allowed yourself to liberate yourself from. Maybe you've been grieving and feeling like you wish that you can talk to a loved one or something like that. And Spirit is saying you are never alone. You can communicate with them telepathically, in the air, whatever. Like, they are listening to you. Love on them, love on yourself. Do some healing work when it comes down to the way that you talk to yourself. Also, perhaps you put yourself down. Perhaps, you've been quick to cut people off. Not just in conversation, but in general, and you find yourself like wanting to communicate with these people again and reconciling. So y'all got the 8 of Blades in reverse, so the 8 of Swords, right? And so there could be some fears, right? And this could also be you challenging other people's fears here. This could be you creating some defense mechanisms. This could be like you getting in your own way and finding, needing to get out of your own way. This could also be like epiphany moments of like how you've been getting in your own way, how you've been self-sabotaging, where you've been feeling trapped and like no longer allowing yourself to stay trapped in those types of like commitments or relationships and whatnot. I really do feel like, a lot of throat chakra activity going on out of nowhere. In the bottom of the deck, you have the Death card here. So I was feeling some sort of like somebody transitioning and wishing that you could have a conversation with them. This could have been like maybe, when you was a child, you have some like maybe a parent passed away or something like that, or you didn't, maybe you never knew one of your parents, or maybe you were adopted or in foster care or something, and you're missing a family member or something like that, and your inner child is like screaming and feeling trapped in that, and there's a need to like heal that. I'm kind of getting, I'm getting very emotional. This feels like some sort of somebody transition when you was a child or something, and a need to heal in that space. And maybe you don't know how, or maybe going to, if they did transition, maybe you go to visit, that their site, if their site is nearby or something like that. But I'm also getting like, creating a sacred space for them and just communicating with them through your heart space. Know that you're not alone and they're listening to you here. This could also be that because of maybe you had abusive parents, or there was an abusive parent, or there were some fears and really deep traumas. Excuse me, y'all. I'm in the middle of healing myself as well. So, I'm really looking forward to ending this. In regards to like healing these inner child, traumas, if you have children, maybe were you treating your children with like neglect or abuse or anger or something like that because of your fears or your wounds and stuff like that. So there's a deep need to really take a look at that as well. This could also be perhaps, getting some news pertaining to maybe school closing down, or some sort of like news from like your children or something like that. This can be in so many different ways. So definitely take the messages, how they resonate, do the healing work that is being called onto you to do. And I wish you all the absolute best. We're going to move forward to Pisces. So Pisces, the last but not least, y'all, this energy is happening in the 2nd house. And so this could be a major shift of your values. This could be maybe y'all changing, your diet, your food, your intake, your digestive system. This could be, maybe the things that you once valued before is no longer, of value right now. Maybe you find yourself, having, this could be a career shift, but mostly maybe a financial shift going on here, some changes in your finances here. This could be, you know, but like, you know, you working, maybe you find yourself like really tired, or you find yourself like getting massive opportunities for money, or projects. Yeah, like my ear is like ringing. Like that just shifted the whole, I don't even know if y'all hear that, because it feels like it literally created a massive, like, I don't even know if y'all hear that. There's something that just shifted in the air. Yeah, I got the Hermit card here. So this could be major changes when it comes down to your values, and really getting into a space of really honoring your worthiness, maybe perhaps needing to gain confidence or tap into any like insecurities, maybe allowing yourself to look at the spaces in which you didn't feel worthy of receiving before. Maybe you come into those revelations. This could also be like finding yourself in the position where, you know, maybe your plans didn't work out in the ways that it did, or you were anticipating or expecting. Maybe it has to do with finances. Maybe it has to do with food. Maybe it has to do with just like, you know, your what it is that you value in life, and you having to take a deep reflection in that, taking some time for yourself to actually look at how you have been treating yourself. If you've been treating yourself like you're worthy, are you treating your experiences? Yeah, in the bottom of the deck, the Two of Wands. Have you been a person that's been really like dominating or challenging, right? Are you finding yourself experiencing like some sort of like egoic transformation? I was going to say death, but transformation, because there's a battle of the egos, or, you know, you know, you're wanting to move forward, and you know, maybe needing to make a decision. You know, when it comes down to the Two of Wands here, is usually, you know, things that you once valued, that you held very near and dear to your heart space, is not necessarily operating in the same way, or is not serving you in the same way. And what is, you know, for you to move forward is it's a different frequency, it's a different vibration, it's a different experience, but it's honoring your values and your worthiness and your North Node, and you needing to make a decision and finding yourself in hermit mode to heal in that, right? And so there could be that type of experience as well. And so I do feel like, you know, this could also be needing to self-rely on your, you know, when it comes down to finances here, or even with, you know, reevaluating your perspectives when it comes down to how you digest information and how you perceive, you know, your upbringing, or how you perceive the experiences around you, and really taking a deep look at that as well. But I really like this energy for y'all when tapping into your creativity. And, you know, I invite you, because of the second house here, like maybe eating lighter. Maybe you want to, you know, there's something in your food palette that's shifting or changing for you at this time. And so it's an invitation for you to go internal and connect with what your internal body is craving at this time, and honoring those cravings, honoring your value, honoring, you know, is your relationships an energetic match of what you value in life? Is your money an energetic exchange of what you value in life? Is your commitments, your experiences honoring the transformation of your worthiness, right? And so these are your messages, y'all. I want to thank each and every one of you who tapped in at this time. I send you all love and clarity and revelations. May your angels continue to guide you, to protect you. May your higher self, the spirit of the Most High, most divine and benevolence and truth and righteous and perfect love and perfect trust cover you in your journey, in your path, in every step way of your life, of your existence, with every breath. Let's take a deep inhale here. Allowing all the good vibes, the protection, the love, the nurturance, the opportunities, the good health, good wealth, good fortune to thrive in us. Taking a deeper inhale. Allowing yourself to digest that energy. Taking one more deep inhale. Integrating, feeling it in your cells, in your organs, and exhale, release. It is done now. I thank you. I love you. Sat Nam. Till next time, y'all. Peace.